You can make gift tags in so many different ways, and we are going to cover 3 different ways to make gift tags in this video. First of all, we're going to cover a basic gift tag. That's just a plain shape, maybe with a little cutout if we're feeling fun. And you can even do a double layer with some writing on it. The second one that we're going to cover is a double-sided gift tag. So here we can see it has writing on the front as well as on the back. The third gift tag that we're going to cover is a print then cut gift tag. Now these are also super fun, and I've even added a little double-sided element to it. Now, it's not a true double-sided gift tag, it's a fake double-sided gift tag. So I am going to show you very briefly. I'm going to explain to you how I did it rather, because showing you might take a little longer than normal, than we have. But if you check, I think it's going to be in this corner here, at the end of the video, I will leave a full tutorial on how to fake a double-sided print then cut. Pretty much just incorporates printing out an entire page full of a pattern and then using print then cut on the other side. So it's a super fun task, and let's get started. I'm so excited to be here for the last live stream of 2024. Can you believe it, guys? Christmas is literally a week away. For me, celebrations start on Christmas Eve, so in exactly 7 days, I'm going to be sitting in front of the Christmas tree with my family, celebrating Christmas, and I am very excited. I love this time of the year where we all get together, we all chat, we'll have a great time, do a little bit of gift giving, but the focus is mainly on spending time together. And I'm super excited to be spending time with you here today in this super fun live. And I have lots prepared for us to do. I think that this is probably the most prepared for any live stream that I've ever been. I have this entire box filled with goodies that we're going to be exploring and taking a look at today. So this is probably going to be a nice long live stream. And I don't know how I pronounce that word long, but I think it's just that time of the year where everything just starts, But I'm so excited to be here with you today. Chris is here, Pam's here, Bree, Tiffany, Gina, Becky, Rhonda, Dre, Esther, Nami, I'm not sure how I'm pronouncing that one, but it is so great to have you all here. And I hope that many more of us join throughout the live stream, and that you guys are you crafting along? Let me know in the chat, or are you just here for the ride and here to, watch me make some gift tags, maybe learn some fun things. We've got 3 different levels of gift tags that we're going to be making. Like I mentioned, the basic gift tags we're going to start off with. And then we're going to get a little bit fun and use a similar principle to make a double-sided gift tag. Barbara says she's just watching, which is great. And we have people from all over the world. Alabama, Tennessee, Southern California, Illinois, sunny Cape Town, which is where I am, and from Germany, NJ, I'm not sure where NJ is, New Jersey, I think, and VA, Virginia. See, I'm slowly learning all of my US state acronyms. Lynchburg, Virginia, great. We have somebody from the UK as well, which is amazing. New Jersey, great. Oh, and from Connecticut. Wow, we have people. I would love to do like a US map where we see where everybody is joining us from around the world, which is great. Tiffany says she has to clean off her, I'm not sure if that's a 4-foot by 4-foot desktop before she can do anything. I mean, Tiffany, you and me both. I've cleaned this space like 3 times today because I've just been crafting and doing all kinds of things, prepping for the live, having fun, testing things out. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to jump right in and get started with the basic gift tags. Now, you can pretty much use any shape for a basic gift tag. I am just opening up a new version of Design Space because I have a few Design Space options projects waiting for us. Projects that I've already been playing around with and all of those kinds of things. And So like I said, you can create multiple different projects with Cricut Design Space, and you can do very many different shapes of gift tags essentially. So if you play around with the projects that you get to play around that you have, and let's just tilt that up just a little bit so that you can see me a little bit better. From Florence, Kentucky. Okay, so Bree says a little bit of watching, eating breakfast, and design space. I think it's so cool how you can be eating breakfast and I've just had dinner. It's amazing. It's 7 p.m. in Cape Town at the moment. And my mom says that she's just watching and chilling and learning from me. Great. So good to see you all here. So when it comes to gift tags, like I said, you don't have to follow the standard gift tag shape. In my email, if you saw it, did provide a basic gift tag shape that I use. I'm going to show you the gift tag shapes. You can see I've been busy with lots of Christmas stuff. So this is every single time, guys. Every time I do that, I always click on the object and not on the little plus to add it to my canvas. So this is the gift tag, basic gift tag SVG that I've shared with you. I mean, there are many gift tags that you can have in Cricut Design Space. If you have Cricut Access, you can use those, but this one is a free one. So it is in my email, and I will share a link to a blog post where you can download it afterwards as well if you didn't get my email that I sent out yesterday. So let's go back to the canvas. So this is just a basic gift tag shape that we're going to use. It's going to be a nice entry-level kind of project where we're going to start off and just get started with something basic. We're going to then add some text to it. So like normal with text, we're going to click on text on the left-hand side of the screen. I almost said right. Me, right and left? We're not friends. So I'm just going to move the text somewhere where you can see it. And somehow I accidentally wrapped my text, so I'm just going to undo that. And I'm going to type in, let's do the general to and from, so that you can make a few gift tags and not have to think about which person they're going to. Because when it comes to gift tags, if you don't have one gift per person in your family, you might just want like a stack of gift tags to write in as you go along. So we're just going to do a generic to and from. And I'm going to right click and duplicate that. Or actually, no, let's not duplicate it yet. Let's find our font. So first of all, we're going to go to our font section, and it's going to pop out our new font menu that we have, which is a little bit of a problem because my face is now covering most of the font menu. Let's just move me to the other side so that you guys can see the font section a little bit better. Hi, Jackie. Welcome. Welcome. Oh, Tonya says it's noon in Kentucky. Wow. So you're only 7 hours behind. That's pretty cool. So if you have Cricut Access, what you can do is you can filter this by a writing font. So you can just click on the little filters and click on writing. And it will filter out all of the fonts that don't have a writing function, like a feature. Essentially, if you were to write that to, it would write just like it would cut, it would write the edge of the actual letter. So what you can do is you can filter it specifically by actual writing fonts. This DTC Apple Cider is one of my favorite fonts to use when it comes to like Christmas time and that kind of thing. So you can see here how it's now a single line. It looks like it's been written just a single plain line. And that's the difference between a normal font and a writing font. So when you have text, and now we're going to zoom out to find our text. If we change this back to Cricut Sans, I think it is. The Cricut Sans also has a very nice writing font. There we go. That's the generic font that we get. See, it's nice and clean. So the style here in the top left-hand corner is what you would select when you're wanting to change something to writing. So you want to click that little drop down, and it will be on regular, but then you want to select writing, and it'll change it to a single line writing font. Now this is particularly useful for, or this is, should I say, this is only really useful for Cricut fonts. Unfortunately, when it comes to fonts that you have on your system, this functionality doesn't translate because they don't read the different writing styles within the actual object, within the actual font, I think. So the only way that you would be able to see the actual font, whether it's a writing font or not, is if you're using a Cricut font. So if we're going back to the fonts, and let's say we don't have Cricut access and we want to use a writing font, a single line writing font, but under system. The easiest way to go about this is to kind of, at one stage, make sure that you go through your fonts and bookmark a few fonts that you like that are writing fonts. So instead of scrolling through all of your fonts all the time, which is a bit of a pain, what you can rather then do is just look at the bookmarked fonts. So here we can see this Amy Lou font that I have is an actual writing font. You can see how the lines are very, very thin. So if we had to cut this out of vinyl, it would it would be a disaster, let's face it. So this would be a writing font only. And you would have the operation, and the operation as a normal would be set to basic cut. You can see how there's no real difference when it comes to a system font. A system font will look the same, if it's a writing font, will look the same as a basic cut as it will look as a writing style. So just make sure that you actually have double checked the style and double checked the layer on the right hand side, that the function of the layer is actually set to pen. Because if we leave this as basic cut, it'll actually cut. It doesn't know that you want to write with it. So you have to actually tell it, hey, Cricut, listen, I know that this is a writing font, but the operation I need to have as pen. So as you can see, under the style, we only have one style. We only have regular. So we don't have a writing style. So system fonts, you will have to manually change them from operation, from basic cut to pen. And you can see, like I said, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any change there. But that font is not really all that nice for Christmassy type things. And I wanted to ask, guys, is the volume okay? Is the volume not too soft? I know that last week and the week before, the volume was really soft, but I've made some changes and I think that the volume should be better today. If at any point you feel like the volume is too low or something like that, just let me know. Yell at me and go, hey, Kaylee, we can't hear you. Barbara says it's perfect. Okay, great. So as you can see, when you're scrolling through the fonts, perfect today. The volume is good. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that very much. So as you can see, when we're scrolling through, I've got a couple of fonts that are writing fonts, like the Bella Font Sketch. I think I got this from Silhouette Design Store. This particular font, it's a really nice one. But you can see how even in the preview, the fonts actually look very different to what the normal fonts do. The normal fonts, you can see it's like a thick black line, and the writing fonts are a lot thinner and more difficult to see. This is another one of my favorite Christmas fonts, the Peppermint BFC Pepperminty Sketch. I think I also got this from Silhouette Design Store. I'll leave a link, or I'll get links and I'll leave them at in the description at the end of the video. Once the live stream is over, then I'll add them to the description, is what I mean. Okay, so we can do from. You can see, oh, this font is just so cute. It's so perfect and Christmassy. So I'm going to change this one from Apple Cider to DTC Sketch. And because I don't feel like searching for it again, I'm just going to click on Recent. So all of the fonts that I've recently selected and used are under Recent, and I can just change it there. Okay. The next thing that we need to make sure to do is to make sure that we have the correct pen selected. Now, depending on the size of your font, if you're using a font like this where it's got nice little detail on the inside, you can see these lines are very thin on the inside. So if we have this really small, and if we're using a really thick pen, it's not actually going to look all that nice. You're going to see it's going to be looking very chunky. And this is a perfect example. If I just switch back to this view, this is a perfect example. Oh, now I'm looking at it. Of a font that you can kind of see what it says, but because we've used a really thick pen and we've made it a little bit too thin, you can see how it looks super chunky, and you can't really make out what is actually written there. So that's why I always say to people that when you are working with pens and when you're choosing the actual type of pen that you're going to be using, it's important to update that in Cricut Design Space. It'll give you a little bit of a preview as to what it looks like, so that when the object is written, you're not going to have this problem where it looks all super chunky, and let's be real, that doesn't really look all that nice. But I wanted to show you just what it would look like if you don't select the right pen, or if you decide to use a thicker pen than what you have in Cricut Design Space. So I hope that that is helpful. And let's just move that back over there. Okay, so now that we have our writing selected and created, I'm going to select them both because we're going to be using the same pen for both of them. And right next to the pen section, we're going to click on the little box with a black outline. And here is where I'm going to go and change the pen. So I'm going to be using my Joy Extra, and I am going to be using a 1mm gold pen, which is the same pen as what I used on the other tags. And I'll show you how the difference looks. So there, maybe let's just change one of them for now so that you can easily compare the two. So I'm going to use the drop down to select, instead of a fine point pen, I'm going to select the 1mm gel pen. It's either the 1mm gel pen or the marker. Let's see. I think it might be the marker. Some of the colors won't be in the same places, so you'll just need to check to see where it is. Hi, Crystal. Oh, Crystal is a beginner Cricut user here. Great, Crystal. We're going over the basic gift tags first, so don't stress. And hi, Sinette. Welcome. Don't stress. So now that we've changed it to the 1mm pen, you can see that there's a little bit of a difference from the top one to the bottom one. But the size of the font that we're using plays a big role in what the visual is going to look like. So if we select both of these, all right, and we can see that they are quite big. So this is about 2 centimeters high. That's really big for the tag that we want to make. So I actually want these a little bit smaller. So I'm going to decrease the size. And you can see here how the thickness of the line appears a little bit thicker. So make sure to have the size correct. And then we're just going to move this onto our gift tag. So I'm going to change the same for the from. So I'm going to click on the box, click on the drop down, select marker, and then select gold. So now you can see how that's chunked up a little bit, and it looks, well, a little bit more chunky. You can make them bigger if you want. You absolutely can. And we're going to move them on top of our gift tag. These gift tags are about 9 centimeters high, which is about 4 inches, just under 3.5 inches or so. But we're going to separate out the to and the from. So the to is going to be up at the top, and the from is going to be a little bit lower. Hi, Irma. Welcome. Good to have you here. And the reason why I have 2 different colors is because of the tag, where we can make it in, we can cut it out of 2 different objects and have it in 2 different colors. All right, so we have the first layer, which is going to be the brown one. And then the back layer, it's just going to be, you know, you can cut it out of a plain color, you can cut it out of something fun and colorful, you can splash paint on a page, and please make sure it's dry before you cut it, but you can color it in with alcohol marker. You can really have a lot of fun with the back color. Really go to town. Make it whatever color you like. So let's change this brown one. First of all, we're going to ungroup it. So we're going to ungroup it there. And I'm going to ungroup it again. And I'm going to change the color of the brown tag to white, just because that's the color I'm going to be cutting this out of. And then I'm going to leave the red as red. So I'm going to do the same for the other tag. Select the brown one and change it to white. And I'm going to select, let's rather click and select the two. And I'm holding shift on my keyboard and I'm clicking the from. So we got those both selected, and I'm going to duplicate and move that onto the other tag. So we have the same thing on both tags. Now, if we want them to stay exactly where they are, I'm going to select them both. So we're going to select the writing and the tag, and I'm going to click attach. And I'm going to do the same for the other tag and attach. And that's pretty much it. If you want to do a basic gift tag, that is all you need to do. You can have the person's name on there. You can write season's greetings, have a fun element on there. It's totally up to you. If you want to add a fun element, like on this gift tag that we have here, you can see I've added a little cutout. There you can see me through the cutout. So, and it also has like a little peekaboo where you can see the color of the paper underneath it. If you want to have something like that, you want to do it before you attach everything. And all you need to do is just slice out a shape. It's quite as simple as that. So if you want to do that before you attach your tag, we're going to insert an image. And I'm just going to use one from Cricut Design Space. Peekaboo, we saw a Kelly through the cutout. Hi, Annie. Welcome to have you. Welcome. It's good to have you. Welcome to the stream, is what I was trying to say. So what we're going to do is we're just going to search for anything, really. I'm just going to, maybe I haven't actually used a snowflake. Or maybe, well, let's rather use this Christmas tree, just to keep it nice and simple. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to hover it over wherever I want it on the tag. I might even want to move my writing to make sure that it accommodates the little shape. Or we'll put it on that side. There we go. So even though the writing is there, when we are hovering over the tag, I'm just going to select the tag and the tree. So you can see in the layers, we've got the Christmas tree and the basic gift tag selected. And then all we're going to do is click slice. And what it'll do is it'll then remove the little Christmas tree out of our tag. Now you'll notice that our writing disappeared. Don't stress. We're going to select the tag, right click, and send it to the back. All it's done is it's just reorganized itself and it's placed the tag on top of the writing. So we just need to place the writing on top of the tag again. And then we can delete those little cutouts because we don't need them anymore. And there we have a little cutout on our tag. Now I'm going to undo that delete, and I'm going to do the same on our little rounded off tag. So we're going to detach for now. Move the from, position our little tree, select the tree and the tag, and then click slice. Delete the little elements, right click, send to the back, select both elements, and we're going to attach. Okay, so that's all we need to do to make a nice little basic gift tag. So I'm going to click make, and it's going to ask me to save my project. And I'm just going to ignore the save for now. Yes, Annie, gift tags are so much fun. I really enjoy them. And we can just carry on cutting from here. So we can click continue. It's going to connect to the Joy Extra. Any second now. I wonder if it's actually connected. No, it's not connected in another project. As you can see, I've got a few versions of Design Space open with all the different projects that we're going to work on today. I like to use the intricate cuts setting when it comes to these kinds of projects. Basically, it'll cut at a lighter pressure, but it'll cut twice. So it's really useful when it comes to cutting different projects and things like that. And then we're going to load up the material onto the mat and cut our gift tag. Crystal, it'll absolutely get easier as you learn, and you can re-watch this as many times as you want. Just move through the features and the functions and the steps and make sure that you just repeat them a few times so that you get used to them. But what we're going to do now is, now those of you that may be very beginners, this might be a little bit tricky to handle, but what we are going to do is we're going to do some double-sided gift tags, and then we'll cut everything at once. So, double-sided gift tags are a lot of fun. All right, basically, the idea of double-sided gift tag is that you're only actually going to cut them once. So what I've done here is I've created a stencil of gift tags. I've created a lineup of gift tags, let's rather say that. So these four at the top I have created. And maybe what I'll do here is I will just detach and delete these to show you exactly what I've done. Okay. So the double-sided gift tags are a lot of fun. And for some reason I did to and from on some of them and season's greetings on the others. I don't know why. But in order to do double-sided gift tags, you want to line up your gift tags in the way that you want them particularly cut on the mat. So I've chosen 4 different shapes just for funsies. There's no real reason. And I've made sure that they fit within the portrait or landscape section of the Cricut cutting mat. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to attach all of them together. All right, so they're all one object. You can't move them. Now, I'm going to right click and I'm going to duplicate. So that essentially you have 2 of exactly the same thing. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to detach these ones and I'm going to remove all of the writing that I have on these tags. So each of these tags are all attached separately. So I'm going to just detach each of them, just like that. And I'm going to delete all of the elements. So we have like a blank canvas, essentially, on our other tags. And the basic, this nice simple part about this is all you do is you can just add whatever you want onto these gift tags. So I'm just going to right click and send them to the back so that all of these elements are in front of them. Before we start adding things and attaching tags and whatnot, we can't have them the same color. In order to follow this method, they need to be in exactly the same location, so you can't move them. You can even attach them again if you want, so we can just attach all the base tags together. So essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to create 2 that line up on top of each other. If I move these on top of each other, you can see they match perfectly and nothing underneath it is different. They're not out of line anywhere. But we can't have them the same color because then Cricut will put them on the same mat. Unless you have a whole mat filled with those stickers. I mean, gift tags. I've got stickers on the brain. But because we're only making 4, I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to just change the color to, I think I had them gray before. Doesn't really matter. The color is irrelevant as long as it is a different color to the top ones that we have. And then we're just going to add our elements. I'll send them to the back again because I've attached it now and it brought it to the front. So we're just going to add our to and from onto our gift tags, our little designs that we want. Doesn't really matter what designs you add on there. These are just ones that I was playing around with earlier. So what you want to do is you want to think of these as 2 separate elements. So these ones at the top will be on the one side of the gift tag, and these ones at the bottom will then be the other side. So we need to have the one on the one side and the other on the other side. This works really well with these shapes because these shapes are symmetrical. All right, if you have a shape, like let's say you were cutting something out of, now most of these objects are going to be symmetrical, so it's going to be difficult to show you. But basically, if you have a shape that is not symmetrical, like if we go back and if we choose, like, just for argument's sake, this ice skate. Let's say you want to make a gift tag out of this ice skate. What we would need to do for the second layer is make sure that it is mirrored. I'm trying to think now to myself. I mirrored it for some of them for a reason, and I don't think I think the way that I do it now, we don't have to mirror them. I think I'm ignore me. It's been a long day. So let's not mirror them for now, because of the fact that we're not going to be cutting them the second time. So we're only going to be cutting them once, and I'll show you we're going to be removing the blade the second time and then cutting them just once. So I apologize if I confused you. I confused myself because I was like, but I did mirror them, and ignore me. So we're going to now attach all of those together and attach. So we have that is all attached and that is all attached. And I didn't move any of the elements. So that's important. That's really important when it comes to these things. Didn't move anything. So when we click make, you'll see how we have the one set of gift tags. So it'll draw and then it'll cut the outline of the gift tags. And then on the second mat, you see how they're all in exactly the same spot. So we're not going to move anything here either. We're just going to leave Cricut Design Space to do its thing. And we're going to just get to the mat on that side. And I think we're going to do these 2 projects, and then we'll move on to the print and cut ones once we are done with these 2. So let's go back to these gift tags, the basic gift tags. And let's cut these. So let's go continue. A little piece of paper in my way so I can't see. Do you guys also get confused when you're doing projects? Like, I'm pretty sure I did it like this, but did I actually do it like that? Every now and then I do that to myself. And then I'm like, no, but that's not actually what you're supposed to do. So if you guys get confused during projects, don't stress, because I do too. It's completely normal. And I'm going to try to be better with my water. Because I think last time I ended up talking so much that I forgot to drink any water. Okay, so I'm just going to move you guys over here so that we can cut this project. Oopsie daisy. Sorry. confused all the time. I'm glad that it's not only me. I don't want you guys to get confused, but I'm a little bit glad that it's not only me. Okay, so we have the overhead view now. Okay, I'm just popping out the chat so that I can see you guys in front of me. And let's just bring that down and that across there. Great, now you can see me. All right. So we have our little trusty old Joy over here. Tiffany says she keeps a notebook by your computer to make notes about how to make projects the next time. That's very good. That's a very clever idea. You can tell I confused myself. You got confused with Design Space last night at 3 a.m. Well, Bree, I would imagine 3 a.m. is a very confusing time for anybody. So I'm glad that you made it through. And of course I prepped everything else except for white cardstock. Like the most basic of items, and I forgot to prep white cardstock. What a chop. But that is also just how these things go. Oh, that's vellum. That's not cardstock. Oh my gosh. That's always how these things go. You always forget to mirror. Ah. Yeah, I forget to mirror constantly. So you're not alone there. Okay, I'm just going to cut down a piece of cardstock. Like I said, I remembered everything else except for the cardstock. Crystal says you're still learning the Cricut language. Yes, can be quite confusing, especially if you're used to other programs and things like that as well. That is not all that great. Okay, so I'm just double checking the size of the cardstock that we need to make. I'm going to cut a 10 centimeter piece. So let's just trim down this piece of cardstock. I just need a 10 centimeter piece. Just in case you guys have this and you don't know, it has an arm that opens out. And you can then measure up to, this is the smart, sorry. I imagine that was very loud. I apologize. So you can actually measure all the way out to 40 centimeters or 16 inches, just in case you weren't aware if you had one of these. It also has a place for you to store your extra blades underneath. So just in case you didn't know that either. But I know that many people don't know that. 11 centimeters. And yes, I have two different cutters because I prefer this one to my other one. Oh, is there a bit of community bonding going on? I like that. Give it a couple of years. Yep, a couple of years to learn all the lingo and everything. Totally normal. Let's do that. I've just got this little piece. We're just going to do the 2 gift tags on this one. And I'm loading it into my Joy. And it's going to ask for the pen first as soon as it's done checking the length of the mat. And all we're going to do is we're just going to open up this little flap here, lift that up. I never get the space right. There we go. Your Joy has a little magnet there for the door, so it's great to just put your blade there. And we're just going to load that up. I'm going to move that across to the side just so that it fits properly. And then we're going to click go. Yeah, the Joy is very handy for small projects like this. I think just in general, if you have a small craft area, it is amazing for this. And as you can see, it is going to look very splotchy when we have our little writing. So it didn't quite give us a very good, accurate depiction of what it's going to look like in Design Space, but that's all right. But yes, Bree is completely right. It's a process. Don't be mad with yourself if you get things wrong. I get things wrong all the time. It's kind of just, even if you know better, you sometimes still just make a mistake or something like that. It's totally normal. And now we're just going to wait for this to write out. Is the magnet on the other Joy? Yes, Linda, it is. So it's the same here. If you have the blade out, it's the same there. You can it just magnetizes there because that's where obviously the magnets for the front part of it are stuck there. So you've got to pull it open and then it can just sit there. Oh, Annie, Joy Extra without a doubt, without a second thought, absolutely the Joy Extra. Because of the slightly bigger size and the fact that it can use print and cut, absolutely Joy Extra. I think that the sales for the Joy will probably decrease quite a bit now that the Joy Extra is here, because it's such a small price difference and size difference as well. It's not that much bigger, but it is so much more useful. You are most welcome. Or my cat decides to attack the machine I'm not watching. I love that. Luckily mine don't. Yeah. Purely for print and cut, the Joy Extra. So Bree, in terms of the Joy Extra and the Explore Air 2, mostly the size, and that the Explore Air 2 can use the deep point blade, so it can cut thicker materials. Okay, now it's stopped. It's telling me that it needs to change the pen to the blade. So we're just going to take the pen out. And then add the blade back in. And then click go on my computer. So the Explore Air 2 can cut like thicker materials, like your craft foam, your leather. It can cut those kinds of things, like I said, your softer, thicker materials. It can also use the scoring stylus, which the Joys can't use, but you can technically score by using the foil tool on your Joys. So Melinda, I can imagine, but like I said, if you visit my Amazon link and you buy it through Amazon, I will love you. I love you already. But I highly recommend the Joy Extra. I'm loving mine now that I've got it. Your original maker is still kicking, but you get lazy to pull it out sometimes. It could be more included to bring the Joy down to the living room and do this on the coffee table. Yeah. They also make nice little bags for the Joy Extra. I don't think that Cricut has one yet, but I know that like you can get them on Amazon. There are little bags for the Joy Extra. Okay. So this is done. Our tags are now done. Now, for those of you that are new, even though we've selected the right cut setting, we always want to make sure that we check our cut before we remove our materials. So I'm just going to lift this up, and as you can see, this came cleanly off the mat. So the cut setting was correct. Come on, focus. stop focusing down there at the bottom. There we go. You can see it was a beautifully clean cut there. So we can unload it from the machine because we've checked our cut. We don't need to, well, even though with the Joy, you can't actually rerun the cut. So you really need to make sure that your cut settings are correct. And as you can see, even though we changed the size of the material, the pen, in Design Space, it still didn't really pull through the nice little swatch thingies, side dashes very nicely. So a little bit disappointing, but I still think that they look really cute. And now it's time to cut from our fun cardstock, and I shouldn't have done that either. I should have flipped the mat over because they do tend to curl a little bit when you pull them off the mat. But it should be fine. And I like to save these little pieces because I can stick them on another piece of cardstock or something like that. And oh yeah, everybody's saying save the cut for another project. So Evan, this is just plain old. I think this is a 216 GSM cardstock. It's just your regular medium cardstock. I'm not sure what pound it is. This is the American Crafts. It's pretty much my favorite cardstock to use. There we go. We've got AC cardstock. And I think it's like... No, I'm going to lie when I tell you what pound it is because it doesn't say... It doesn't say on the thingy. And I think it's 8... No, it can't be 80 pound. Is it 80 pound? I'm not sure. And the next one that we're going to do, the next cutout... Let's do it out of... Got a few different options. Let's do it out of this one. So I'm just using a fun patterned cardstock. I think so, Chris. I think medium is 80 pounds, yes. Okay, so I didn't select remember material settings in Design Space, so I'm just clicking cardstock for intricate cuts again, just because I like to use that cardstock setting. It cuts it twice. Jackie says, I know that's 216. 216 is 80 pound, yes. Okay, so my memory was correct there. Thank you. Oh no, Evan. If that happens, just put your mat on your fabric, on your material, on your fabric, on your material, on your clothing. What is just happening is that your mat was obviously too new and your mat was too sticky. So it was just sticking a little bit too much to your mat. Like even this is a light grip mat and this light grip mat is very sticky. So the only thing that I don't like about your Joy Extra is the fact that you can't rerun the cut. Trina, I 1000% agree with you. I don't know why they did that. It irritates me as well. All of the other machines can do it. The Joy can't either. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But that's just one of those things. Okay, so this one was a shorter cut because we didn't have to write or anything. And again, checking the cut before I'm removing it. So we see the cut is correct and we unload. I think I just do it out of habit. Even if we can't rerun the cuts on the Joy, it's still out of habit. So like I normally do with cardstock, flip your mat over and peel your cardstock away from your mat. And then just make sure to remove any of the little thingies. That's the technical term. Oh, I love it. And then we have our little color backing, again, thingies. Why is it taking so long to focus today? Focus on the thing that's in the middle. There we go. And now we can line them up. So obviously you want to put the pieces that match together. So we have those there and those there. And if you want to get really fun, you can also like color the edges like I did with these ones. No, not that one. It's probably the only one that I didn't do it to. So like this one, I took a, can't really see, brightness is quite high, but there on the edges, you can see I just put a little bit of color just on the edge. So whatever color the under backing is, just use a sponge. So I've got these like little finger sponges, and just match the sponge color. So we get rid of the thingies that were cut from the thingies. 100%, Annie. I'm glad that you got this. You understand this now. Bree says she loves my technical terms. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so now we've got more thingies. No, I'm kidding. These are inks. I love to use the distress inks. I love the little ones because they store a lot easier. You can get so many more for a lot cheaper. And I don't use them all that much, so I just really enjoy using them. Now I'm just going to use a new one because I don't think I have a color. So just dab the ink a little bit. You can also use a blending brush if you like. And we just brush it on the edge there just a little bit. You can even use a different color around the tree if you want. You can do it a lot neater than this. I'll show you on the other one what it looks like with the blending brushes, because with these, if you're not too careful, you can get it quite harsh. But if you are a little bit more intentional about the positioning and how much ink you're getting onto the page, you can make the edging a little bit softer, or you can kind of go a little bit more rough and have it a little bit rougher on the edge there. It's totally up to you. Blending brushes. You can take your blending brush. So this is just a Studio Light blending brush, and just blend it on the outside. Have it very, very soft. And it's a water-based ink, so I'm not worried about my desk. I'll just use a lappy, a cloth. Couldn't think of the English word for a second there. And then just clean it off. Making some of those cardstock bows and then use a pen to write the names on them. Oh, that's a good idea. See, with the blending brushes, you can have a harsh blend at the top, like you can see there, or at the bottom, you can see I have a much softer blend. So there's a harsh edge, and then at the bottom, if you're again a little bit more intentional about the way that you use the blending brushes, you can have it a lot softer. So I just wanted to show you the different kind of styles of blending. And then, like I mentioned, I'm just going to use a wipe to clean up my surface. Always try and close them once I'm done. Those of you in South Africa, these things are amazing. I absolutely love them. You can get them at most P&As, and I think you can get them on Take-A-Lot as well. So I'm just going to clean down my surface just like that. As you can see, it comes right off. It doesn't leave any stains or anything like that. It is perfect. And these are alcohol based wipes, so they clean up a lot of things. Do those paints work well with stencils? So Evan, these are inks, but they do work well with stencils. Yes, I've used them a lot with stencils. Yep. Okay, so there we go. So you see how it's a little bit more like kind of cohesive. And you can then add in your bows and twine and things. So I have just a little multi-pack of rope. I got this from P&A. It's just a W&M pack of rope. I think I got it last year and it was 40 Rand, so like $2, $3-ish, somewhere around there. And I'm just going to cut off a little bit of rope. Obviously the length of the rope depends on personal preference. I kind of just cut. I don't really have any rhyme or reason to the length of rope that I use. And I'm going to cut this one in half so that I have it for both. I find the easiest way to put the tags, the rope on the stencils. Stencils, now I've got stencils in my head. Is to fold it in half and kind of pull it so that it reaches a point. Okay. So it reaches a point, just like that. Thank you, Irma. And then you just push it through the hole. Pull it out. And then instead of tying anything, because that's a pain, I just feed the 2 loops of the ends through the hole. Through the loop that we've just made with the rope, should I say. And then you just pull it tight. So then the tag looks like that. And then you can stick that down onto whatever you want. And then there's your tag. So it's super easy to make. And you can do these in bulk, and your Cricut can just cut and cut and cut to your heart's content. And you can feed them through from the back or the front. Doesn't matter. I'll show you the difference. So this one was fed through the front, and you can see you don't have the little loop there. And that one was fed through the back, and you can see the little loop at the top of the tag. So it just depends on what look you're going for with your gift tag. And that's that's the basic gift tags that we've done. So let's take a look at the second gift tag, which is the double-sided gift tag that we're doing. So let's just pack this stuff away quick. Have you guys made gift tags with your Cricut before? Is it something that you do often? Baby wipes are also great for cleanups. Yes, they really are. I like these ones because they have alcohol in them. So if I'm working with alcohol inks or like a stubborn object, then it comes off a lot easier. Okay, so I think I prepped... No, that's not... Let's do green ones. Yes, this is the right one. Okay, so I'm just going to load my cardstock in for my tags, just like I normally would. And then for the second... So for the second project, I'm just going to click done on the first project that we did. And then we're going to jump to the second project, the one we have with the double-sided gift tags. And we're going to click continue. It's then going to connect. And we're going to cut the first layer. Now these take a little while. Sometimes it takes a while to connect, but also these take a while to cut and draw because there's lots of little detail on there. Okay, now it's telling us to load our black pen into our machine. I'm not going to use a black pen. I'm going to use a different color. Oh, nice, Bree. You haven't made any gift tags. I tend to make gift tags every year. So I am so familiar with this process at this point. So I'm just loading it into my Joy Extra at the zooming in, should be zooming out. Okay, now we're going to flip that open and place our... I need to get the space right. I think There we go. That works a little better. Maybe I should use the black pen for this because it's green. Yeah, so I'm just going to use my normal fine point 0.4 black pen that came with the machine. I'm just going to plop that in there. And I'm going to click go on Design Space. And now it's going to do all the writing. Just want to make sure that stays stuck down. It looks like it was lifting up just a little bit. No problem, Irma. Thanks for coming, Annie and Irma. Yeah, so these projects are a lot of fun to do. Especially if you've got something to do, you can just set up a lovely little intricate design and let them draw. You can do a whole page of gift tags, which I probably will at some point as well. Refresher course. Ooh, I like that. It's very cool. One of the other fun things that I also did with my gift tags, so we obviously did these with now like some fun patterned paper, and I really want to throw a spanner in the works and just show you what I did with some of the other backing. I think I did this last year as well with some of the backing colors. So this was a color, a backing, a shape of a tag that I made. But if you look closely, you can't really see. You can see how it's embossed. So that's what I also did. I embossed some of the backing of my cards. You can probably see it on the back a little bit better. And then I did the same for some of the other tags that we did. So here, this one has a little holly embossing on it. And I didn't use my maker for this. So this is something that you can do if you have a Cuttlebug or a Go Cut and Emboss or a Big Shot or something like that. It's super, super fun. I should have actually taken out my inks. I mean, not my inks, my waxes. Give me 1 second. Luckily, they're relatively easily accessible. Okay, now, waxes. Waxes are something else that are ridiculously fun to play with. Very messy. But as an example, I'm going to do the gold, because the gold works really nicely on the red. I'll just clean my space afterwards, it's fine. So I'm going to take this one. Oh, great, Evan. I'm so glad. So this is actually a different method that I use. This isn't the full page embossing. This I actually used with a stencil. So I cut a stencil and then I used my Cuttlebug. I have a video for that as well. My stencil, you'll see, it fits perfectly here on one of those little spaces. Okay. Our Joy wants me to switch to the pen. So I mean the blade. So I'm just inserting the blade into the machine and I'm clicking go. Now, thank you, Marie. So this is wax. It's got like mica powder and essentially beeswax. It works really well when it heats up with your body temperature. So you just give it a little bit of a rub and you can see it goes on, transfers onto your skin. And then all you do is you just rub it over tag gently. See how it really brings the embossing to life. And of course you can write on these before you emboss them as well. So if you want to write on the one side and then emboss on the other side and then use the wax to like really bring out the color. I just think that waxes are some of my favorite things to play with. And they smell divine. So you see how it really, really brings out the embossing. And if you're very gentle, you can try and get the wax only on the top layer, which is really, really fun. And you can use those in the back. This is metallic wax. There's many different brands and things like that you can get on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. But it's so much fun. And like I said, you just take a wet wipe and then you just clean your finger on the wet wipe. And it's, boom, it's clean. So it's so, so easy. Oh, you're welcome, Brie. Okay, now, to get back to the double-sided gift tags, because this has finished cutting. All right, now we're going to unload because we have no other option. All right, move the mat. Now what we're going to do is we're not going to take the material off the mat. We're going to take our tags off the mat. Now, you can flip it over if you want to. I generally don't when I'm doing double-sided gift tags because I generally pull off the material and I need to keep the backing, so the outline, the negative of this project, where it needs to be. All right, so we're going to pull up our gift tag and we're quite simply just going to turn our gift tag over and place it back down. This is nice because you can actually see the color difference between the top and the bottom layer. So we're just going to do that again. Okay, come in a little bit closer. You lift up the gift tag, turn it over, and plop it back down. That's why it's nice to have these that are symmetrical, because they just fit exactly back where they need to be. And we're going to do the same for the third one. Gently lift it up. I also like to leave the little dot in there as well, because it serves as a nice guide. And we stick it back down. So when you have non-symmetrical things, that's when the mirroring comes in handy and whatnot. But it's a lot easier to do it with symmetrical items because then you don't have to worry about anything being mirrored. And like I said, you can now very nicely and easily see exactly where the gift tags are. So we're then just going to load this back into the Joy. You can of course use your brayer to make sure that it's stuck down properly. Mine's just behind items. So I'm going to select the same material and then load it back into my machine. Welcome, Leslie. I haven't yet played with Astro Paste, Jackie. I want to, but I'm trying to limit myself in terms of spending. I've got so many things in my room that I don't use, which is also why I'm trying to make these types of videos and do these live streams, because of all the things that I have that I don't use. There must be something on that side. Maybe if I go... No. I think the magnet was put on wrong on that side because it's repelling the magnet. Alright, so now we're putting the pen back in because it needs to draw on the other side. And we're just going to click go. And now it's going to draw the other side of our gift tags exactly where they need to be. How cool is that? These are just such fun things to do. And we have a Merry Christmas gift going out. Who gets the gift? Angel! Cool. Welcome. Yay. Thought I'd give you guys a nice little bit of a Christmas gift. Maybe we'll get some more Christmas gifts later. So now I want to show you, while that is busy, I want to show you what this looks like at the back. So what I did with this one, no, that one, is I did it on the top. Now this one I'm going to try on the other side. I'm also going to give myself a little bit more wax so we get a slightly more intense look. Remember guys, if you want to be able to receive super chat gifted memberships, you have to have gifted memberships enabled in your profile. So we can really go to town. This stuff goes so far, so don't be afraid to use it if you do have it. It's also not that expensive, which is quite nice. So you see there, you make a nice little fun element. You can also add to the top as well if you want. So glad that you were here with us, Angel. There we go. See, I mean, these could just be like a fun little... No problem, Esther. I will do so. As soon as we're done with these gift tags, I think these gift tags are almost done. There we go. My words not even cold. Linda, does the wax dry on paper? Yes, it does. It does reheat again once it comes into contact with like heat, because it's beeswax. So I mean, any heat and things like that, it dries. It'll warm up. And again, see how the cleanup, maybe you didn't see that, but you just wipe it down and then it cleans the surface. The surface is now again clean, which is great. So there we go. And let's unload it. Ooh, wait. So what I'm doing is being a chop. So essentially what it's doing now is it's cutting again. So instead of unloading, it's actually cutting. We don't need it to cut because it's done with its cutting job. So all we need to do is just cancel and then unload it in Cricut Design Space. I always forget that step because it's like right at the end. I always forget it. So like I said, you don't want it to cut again a second time because it's already been cut and then it might cut a little bit funny. So once it's done with the second layer, you're actually done. And now, now I suppose you can flip it over. Nice, Angel. I like that for you. And now you can remove the tags from your mat. And then just take off these little dots. I like that you put it on your TV and then you just go and do things. That's cool. That's super cool. I do that sometimes as well. Just put YouTube videos on and go and do stuff. So you see now we have to and from on the one side and season's greetings on the other. So now we have a super easy double-sided gift tag. So much fun. So cool. Now I have 4 of them. Can totally make loads more. But the next one that we're going to look at is the print and cut tags. Now, like I mentioned, and like I promised, I'll show you. So this isn't a good example because this one I've actually printed on both sides. But essentially all that I did with these was I just printed a full page pattern. So this is just a full page of a pattern that's been printed out. You can print a picture, whatever you want. I don't do these in Cricut Design Space because you can't print without the registration marks in Cricut Design Space. You can print out one page on the one side in Cricut Design Space and then just print out something on the other side. But like I said, I don't really like it because then you end up wasting a little bit of paper. Oh, Brenda asked, can you write over the wax? No, not really, unfortunately. So you would want to write on it first before you put any wax on. Wax on, wax off. So I have a couple of different examples in front of me. Nami asks, what printer do I use? You're thinking about getting one to be able to print and cut. I have an Epson L3 150. I love my printer. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it can't accept the like 300 GSM paper. So I think the Canons can. So my next printer, I might go for one of those. But I can't really complain about the quality of the prints. This exact paper that I'm holding in my hand is not great for my printer. So it kind of bleeds a little bit, but that's the paper, not the printer. But any of the Epson EcoTank printers will work beautifully. They're really nice. Hi Janine from Canada, welcome. Gonna have to watch from the beginning, no problem. So, like I said, these are just patterns, repeatable patterns that I've found on Creative Fabrica, and these ones are just printed on the one side. So they're blank, they're printed full scale on the one side, and then completely blank on the other side. They're really nice to use, and I've already got one in the printer, and all you do is you print on the other side of the paper. So let's hop over quickly to Design Space and take a look-see at the objects that we're going to play around with. So these are the tags that I told you guys that I was going to use, and I have used a few of them, which is super cool. If you want to add text onto these tags to be printed out, you absolutely can. You can write on them as well if you have like a nice marker or something like that. It works beautifully. So we're going to just click upload in order to get them onto our canvas. Upload image. I'm going to browse and then select I've already saved these tags to my computer. So we're going to select the tags that we want to use. I like that one, so let's use those ones. The penguins are my favorite, Jackie. They're adorable. I really like the penguins. And these are nice to make as like gift sets. So if you want to give them to somebody as like a gift set for the year or something like that, you can sell them totally. Maybe just leave a space on them for like a to and from, or you could even just print these out as gift tags and have them plain on the other side. It's totally up to you. And then we're going to click continue. Now the problem with this specific file from Design Space, from Creative Fabrica, sorry, and the link of that is in the description, is that it has like the actual tags. So it has like fake rope on them, which I didn't realize initially, but all we can do, we can actually fix that now. So all we need to do here is just erase it. So I'm going to select it's the erase function. It's literally right here in Design Space. My face is just covering it at the moment. And I'm going to move the eraser size all the way up to 100. There you can see it's just right here. And now the eraser is there. So we're just going to erase out the little rope from the top of the tag, trying to get as close and as smooth to the top of the tag as possible. Okay, so we're just going to erase out the parts that we don't need. Now this next little part is a little bit of a lovely hack for me. It, of course, doesn't have the section where we want to feed in our rope. So they've added their own rope. We need to feed in our own rope. So instead of slicing it in Design Space, I'm actually just going to use the eraser function and just erase out the little hole that it has for the actual tag. Is the eraser only with paid Cricut access? No, it is not. It is with the free one. The manual section underneath. All of the options are with the free. So we go apply and continue. And we, of course, load it as a flat graphic. And we click continue. You can give it a name. It's already named as gift tag, so I'm fine with that. And then it's going to add it into your canvas, but it's more than likely going to be really large when it adds it in. I'm so glad that you guys like that idea. I was quite proud of it when I thought of it myself. So now I'm going to just make them, I think I made them around 9 centimeters or 10 centimeters high. So I'm just going to shrink them down. Oh, it looks like I might have missed a little section of tag. So let's just shrink them down quite a bit. I want to decrease the space in between them, so I'm going to separate them out into 2 different objects. So I'm just going to slice them by adding a shape and just hovering it or moving the shape over one of the tags, making sure that it completely covers the one tag. And then we're going to select them both and click slice. Now all that is going to do, you can delete that gray section, and we can delete this as well. Now all that is done is just made these 2 tags separate from each other. I do want to, this is the only reason I'm doing this now is because I must have left a little bit of the rope when I was erasing it. So I'm just removing that because I just don't want it to be a problem. So that shouldn't be a problem for you if you do the erasing part. And then I'm actually going to print a couple more of these, but I'm going to replace that one and that one with these 2. Okay, now when I'm working with print and cut projects, I have a template that I like to use. This little template it helps me get everything organized on the mat. And at the moment, I'm not going to lie, Cricut Design Space is driving me nuts. Because what they do is if you have multiple different objects and you attach them together, for some reason, it doesn't recognize the fact that all of your objects are actually within the bounds of the print and cut. So you have to make them like smaller and more clogged. And then you click print and then everything is there's like tons of space. So Design Space, like I said, at the moment is driving me nuts because it's making more wasted space on my projects, which is irritating. So I just move it into the corner, the top left-hand corner, so that I can move things against the margins and making sure that nothing is overlapping. Right, nothing is overlapping, and I can guarantee you that when I attach this, it is going to give me an error and it's going to tell me that my print and cut is too large or something silly like that. So I'm just going to hide the print and cut layer, the template layer. Zoom out a little bit. Ooh, that was too much. Cricut Design Space is taking its time in responding. I'm going to select everything and then attach it. Because as you can see, we have a lot of space on our mat. The green, you just need to make sure that the objects that you have are within the bounds of the print and cut template. You want to make sure that everything is inside that green box, and you should be fine. Bree says, how do you make the stencil for print and cut? Are you talking? Oh, you're talking about the template. I will share a link to a project of mine that I have used for it, and then you can just copy mine. I created one, and every time I do like a print and cut project, I always share the template in the assets. So I share it as like an SVG file so that you can upload it into your own design space and have it there. But I can also share a project with you. You might be able to find one in images, I think. I'm not sure. But this is just one that I've uploaded that I use. Okay, so we now have it attached because all of our items are print and cut. We don't need to flatten. You can flatten if you want, but I just prefer to attach it so that everything's separate. And then we're going to click Make. Print and cut is always, Evan, I agree. I love print and cut because there's so many things that you can do with it, but it's just sometimes design space frustrates me so much. So when it comes to print and cut, don't change anything on the screen. Click Continue. And now we're going to send it to the printer. Okay. Leave bleed on, because we don't have white borders on the edge of this. We need to make sure the bleed stays on. And we're going to use the system dialog so that I can adjust the printer settings. I'm going to click Print. And the print box has popped up. We're going to click Preferences. And I'm going to change it to as closely match the printer settings that I need to use. So I always turn the high speed off because that's what works a little bit better for me. And I leave the quality on high. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to print. I already have a page set up in my printer because I actually planned a little bit ahead. I know, it's wild. And I'm going to click Done. Now I need to disconnect it from the other project that I have in Design Space. So let's go cancel. Yes, we want to cancel the cut. We minimize that project. So now we can select the Joy Extra. Yes, Michaela, it's so frustrating. I sat here earlier this afternoon and like for 5 minutes I was fighting with Design Space because I was like, it's not larger than it needs to be. It's the right size. Oh. Oh, for some reason we're only an hour and a half in and my throat is already giving me problems. I should have actually made myself some tea. Hi, Janine. Hi, Vanessa. Welcome. You can watch the replay to catch what you missed. Absolutely. There's an hour and a half of replay that you can watch. Your laptop is out of commission, so you're using your iPad and phone these days. It's quite the test of patience. Oh, Evan, I don't know how you do it. I get so frustrated when I need to do anything on my phone on Design Space. So I take my hat off to you. Okay, while we wait for my printer to print, because it takes a couple minutes to print out a project, I'm going to show you how I did the embossed gift tag. Okay, so like I mentioned, I use my Cricut Cuttlebug. It sounds like those formatting errors on Microsoft Word. Yes. Okay. So, my Cuttlebug. This is my good old trusty Cricut Cuttlebug. I actually managed to trade somebody for this one, so she looks a little bit worse for wear. I unfortunately have not been lucky enough to get a new one because they don't make these anymore. But as you can see, as you can see, she's been through the ringer. I'm not quite sure, but I love her. She still works, so it doesn't bother me at all. And I don't know why she's clanking like that now. She doesn't normally clank. Attaching it to the template gets rid of the error. What, Michaela? That is so weird. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I'm absolutely going to go and test that. She's well loved. She's very, very well loved. I traded her for a different Cuttlebug and a Cricut Joy because I was being generous. Okay, so the sandwich that we're going to use for these is our A plate, our B plate, our C plate, and a piece of silicone. Now this is just a silicone mat that I've cut up. That's literally it. Nothing fancy, just a silicone mat that I've cut up. So we put this down into our good Cricut. We grab our stencil, and I'm going to use the holly one again, and our gift tag that we want to emboss. Okay, so we place our gift tags down, and you can kind of do this in whichever order you want. You can do the stencil, the gift tag, and then the silicone, or you can do the silicone, the gift tag, and then the stencil. As long as the gift tag is in the middle of the silicone of this particular sandwich. Okay, so that's all we need to do. And you want to just roll it in. If you want a slightly better emboss, you can roll it twice, but I find that it sometimes ghosts a little bit because the silicone shifts. So the silicone is not the best way, but I mean, to go buy a silicone mat is crazy to me, and this is a cheap silicone mat that I've just cut up, and it works perfectly. And you can see there, kind of. I wonder if I bring it down here, if you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, there you can see the embossing a little bit better. Of course, you can use an embossing folder, but if you don't have an embossing folder, you can just use a stencil. And of course, when it comes to using the type of stencil that you want to use a slightly thicker stencil. The thinner stencils won't leave as nice an embossed look on your item, and the thicker mylar will then leave a thicker result. So I think I don't really have a much thicker stencil, but this is one of the easiest ways that I like to use these. So yeah, I'm glad that I'm sharing all of these fun things, and it's so easy to do. I mean, so easy. Such a fun way to just add a little bit of dimension, and it's so quick. So that's all you need to use. Oh, I'm so glad. So glad. And like I said, I mean, of course you can use embossing folders and things like that as well. But you can customize your own stencils, cut your own stencils, and then use them on your Cuttlebug. So you are most welcome. I actually thought of it very last minute, so I'm even more surprised that I thought of it. And there we go. She's just finished printing. How's that for timing, you guys? Okay, so she's printed out. Some sections haven't quite dried on the new. They're quite dense in terms of the ink, but it should be fine. I'm glad that you guys like that tip. Like I said, it's one of my favorite and easiest ways to do embossing. It doesn't give like the most incredible results, but it's just enough dimension that you actually notice that it's there. I'm going to try and dry this just a tiny little bit. You got all the originals from your Cuttlebug. You've refused to part with it. I know. And that's why I was so happy to get this Cuttlebug, because I had a pink one and I enjoyed it. I really liked it, but I really wanted this specific one, that specific brand. Oh, not the brand, the model, because it was the prettiest for me. Okay, now I want to try and put this on the mat without. Okay. Okay, cool. And now we just load it into our Joy. I didn't even show you. Well, I mean, we can see when it's done because it's now already stuck to the mat. So I'm going to select this on. This is a very light cardstock. So I'm actually going to set it on less pressure, light cardstock. And we're going to load it straight in and cut it out. Hi, Kathy. Welcome from Wyoming. Amazing. James! Well done. Well done, James. Stop the clock. And we're going to then click go. Now, the funny thing about the Joy Extra and the cutting of the print and cut, I didn't realize, I actually found this out today, that the sensor, you can't really see it. It's just, oh, of course. Okay, hold on. Let me move this in a little bit. The sensor is actually at the back. So you can't really see it from there, but you can see the sensor is at the back. And I thought that it was like reading at the wrong place, because here's the blade. You see how the blade is going over a section where there's nothing on the mat, but the sensor is actually further behind. I was like right in the middle of Freak Out Town, being all like, no, my Extra is reading the registration marks in the wrong place. Because I've never paid attention to where it's actually done the scanning from. I've only done a few projects with my Joy Extra and the print and cut. So, like I said, I never really paid attention to exactly where it was. And when I did today, I was like, no. I literally even stopped the project and like went back in and restarted and everything. And then I realized, oh, Kelly, you're being a chop. Tonya, yes, they are. They're so cute. I wish there was more of the penguin ones. I really like them. Jackie asked if I tried laminating the tags. I have not. Do you mean like cold lamination? Like the Tech Wrap holographic laminate? Is that what you mean? James Vanessa saying thank you for the gifted membership, because the gifted membership came from you. Janine says she just got the Joy Extra, haven't used it much yet. Yeah, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. They would make cute bookmarks if you made them a little bit. Ooh, yes. Unfortunately, the design is that size, so I don't know how much longer you would be able to make it, unless you know, took it into like a design program or an illustration program and used it in there. But I agree with you, they would look super cute as bookmarks. And that is done. And now, the super fun part about these is also the super easy part. Oh, that's a good idea, Jackie. So now we just check the cut, even though we can't do anything about it, even if the cut is wrong. Cut is perfect, and we unload. I don't think even using the Joy Extra 100 times is gonna stop me from getting into the habit of checking the cut before I unload. So now we remove the tags. And the reason why this print and cut goes so nicely, Vanessa, is because it's a matte paper. So when it comes to your print and cut, if you're using a glossy material, your room for error is a lot bigger. But because this is a matte paper, it is so much easier to get a good cut and a good registration, rather. Now I just got to remember to take those little dots off, but I'll do that later, it's fine. And there you can see the perfect template of where our little tags were, and that's why I like to leave bleed on, because now, I mean, I don't know if the registration was 100% correct. It looks like it was pretty spot on. I mean, look at how even that little bleed mark is on either side. So if your registration wasn't 100% correct, it leaves less room for error. And now we have super fun gift tags. The front doesn't really match the back, so you might want to try and look for something that matches a little bit better, but it's just so much easier to have double-sided gift tags now because everything just looks the same. It's so easy. Now you don't have to have any white backing. What kind of issue are you talking about, James? Sonia is here from Puerto Rico. Welcome. Wow, that's amazing. You can't watch the Cricut do the projects because you constantly live in Freak Out Town. I live in Freak Out Town if I don't watch my Cricut, even if I'm not like, I think I've had PTSD from some of my other machines where I've just, you know, left the room to go to the bathroom and then I come back and then like everything's cut off the sides and everything. It's a good habit to do for your other machines. Yes, Barbara, it really is. And I don't think I'll ever get used to not needing to do it for my Joys. But yeah, so then those are the print and cut tags. And of course, you can do these on a nice, thick, sturdy material, and then they're all double-sided. It kicks you out or gives random different errors. That's interesting. They could also be cute on single-sided patterned cardstock. Absolutely, Jackie. So one of the things that I have is like this single-sided patterned cardstock. And if your print, this particular page won't work because I've already used a bit much of it, but you could absolutely print on this side. And then on that side, you can have the rest of your tags. It's totally possible. Hit the room, hit start, leave the room and wait for an error beep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so then with these tags, you can also, like these ones, maybe go a little bit darker. So black twine. So I have some black twine here that you could use. because it kind of matches the aesthetic of the tag. Where did I put my scissors? Ha! There we go. They're hiding from me. And then you can, of course, feed the tag, just like we did with the other ones. Feed the tag in from the front. Let's do it. These could go for some of your slightly more eclectic friends. You know, you can choose whatever kind of tags you want. You can do a slightly darker background. It's totally up to you. You had connection issues and the girls at work all had connection or cutting issues. It'd say cutting complete before it had started. Okay, that's very strange. I've never had those issues before. So I'm sorry that you had them. That kind of sucks. I'm trying to think if there was something else that I wanted to cover, because I've got a lot of things in my little container. We went through the basic gift tags, the double-sided. This one was also quite fun. So I kind of combined the double-sided gift tag with the cutout. I lost that little piece of cutout. I think when I was pulling it off the mat, it ripped off. And then with the double-sided there, so it's written on both sides, which is quite cute. And then I did a double-sided print of this. I love this pattern. It's such a pretty pattern. That was one of my favorites of last year. And oh yes, we've just gone through all of these. So you see the difference in high quality print versus standard quality print. It's amazing that the color difference between the two. So that's why you need to make sure that you're doing your print settings, print tests as well to get the right print settings, because that is much better than that. That looks very washed out, especially when you compare it with the two. But obviously it's a standard print setting, so it's not supposed to be. But these kind of look really cool when they're in that little washed out kind of color. It's very cool. Very, very cool. But yeah, I hope that these lives have been helpful for you. I know that they're fun for me. And that I get to chat to you guys, have some fun. I'm excited for next year and everything that's coming up. And I'm very grateful that you're all here, that you all decided to join me with the tags that we made. So we did our print and cut tags. We did our basic tags. Just the plain basic ones with nothing on the other side. And then the double-sided tags have run away. There they are. Couldn't remember where I put them. Oh, Becky, thank you so much. Yeah, it is kind of difficult crafting with nails sometimes. I think I've just been doing it for so long that I'm just so used to it. And we have the double-sided gift tags. There we go. Super cute. So these you can just use for standard gifts. Your lives help me get in gear and get clacking. I like that. Yes. Awesome, Pam. I do have a full video on how to do that as well. So if you want, I can also put that video in an annotation as well. Oh, nice, Trina. That's very exciting. Very exciting for you. I'm very glad. I hope everything works out well for you. But I've had so much fun, not only in the lives, but also throughout the year. It has been so much fun to be able to craft with you guys and make new things. And I'm also going to have some super chat goals and things like that I'm going to set up for next lives, which is really awesome. And we're going to be having a lot of fun in our members live this month, which those of you who are members, I put up a video just before this live, about an hour and a half before. So make sure that you go and check that video out, because I want you to leave your comments about what you want the members live to be on this month. We do a members live every month in the members section, and have occasional videos, extras, and things like that. So that's great. Yeah, I totally agree, Bree, and thank you very much for saying that you love the lives. You love the overall acceptance of the crafting community. I totally agree. It's just so nice to just sit here and chat, and it's chilled. There's no stress. Things go wrong all the time, and we just learn how to fix them. We learn how to make new things. We went over blending brushes, inks, metallic waxes. For those of you that may have missed that, I showed you how to use a metallic wax on an embossed product. We learned how to emboss with, it's just so much. We actually did a lot of different things in this live stream, a lot of crafty, fun things, which is what I really want to get back to. I want to get back to having fun, using multiple different elements, because I've got so many different things in my craft room that I can use, tools, all those kinds of things. So thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, no, I never get panicky, because I think the main reason why I never get panicky when things go wrong is because things go wrong all the time. So I'm so used to having problems, and then something goes wrong, and it's just part and parcel of the game at this point. I'm just like, okay, well, let's just solve that problem. I don't think I have a single crafting project that's gone 100% to plan. Literally, every single one goes pear-shaped in some way. But yeah, I really, really appreciate you guys spending time with me. You start sweating profusely. Shame. No, it's no problem. No problem. Things are going to go wrong. We just need to know how to solve them, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining. I very much appreciate you being here. I hope that you all have a fantastic holiday season, and I'm so excited for what next year is going to bring with regards to courses, videos, extra live streams, members live streams that we're going to have coming up. I very much appreciate every single one of you for being here. Like I said, have the most amazing holiday, and I will see you very, very soon. And remember, be kind to someone today. See you soon.